Last time on Square Roots, we got a time knife that looked like a knife and a time machine, and then met our best friend SLOBBO, who isn't as fat as he sounds, and went back and ruined Paul Marine's wedding. Oh yeah! Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello.
John SLOBBO Brandon.
Hey,
Wow.
I am more fat than I sound.
Vanessa cannot be here with us tonight. She is ill.
She's sick and ill.
Yep. So it's boys' night.
Yay!
I also am ill, so I apologize in advance for all my snuffles and sneezes and coughs. And who's editing this week?
Me! And this episode is coming in hot. It's coming in hot.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
recording this last possible minute, just like a meteorite, about to slam down and kill all the dinosaurs that are Quantum Break Act 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad we pushed this to Saturday. I felt like shit on Wednesday. I feel much better today.
Jim and I were preparing for what a Jim and Johnny two-hander were going to be, and I think it would have been us doing bro voices for half of it and talking about our workout routines.
Lame.
Aw, we were excited.
Well, before we kick off all of our boys' night shenanigans, I think we should talk about some hot gaming news. It's been kind of a big news week, a little bit. There's some stuff to talk about.
Yep.
Who wants to go first? Who's got
Game
some news to share?
Informer shuts down. Bom, bom, bom. They were owned by GameStop, right?
They were.
Some friends in the Discord were telling me that they had like a whole streaming, community, and people are actually pretty upset that that's all going away. It's a bummer.
Yeah, 33 years that publication's been active.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe owned one of them. Maybe
I've
got
got
one
a-
once.
Got like 20 or something behind me. I had a subscription for a while. They just
I
stopped
also had a
sending it
subscription to
eventually.
Game Informer for a long time. I think
So
I
you
got a
guys
subscription
both got
to Game Informer
scammed
too.
into getting a subscription to Game Informer by GameStop, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because that's how that works.
Yeah, I did. I had one before GameStop took them over, though. Like, I had one when I was in high school.
I mean, I loved gaming magazines when I was younger, but we have the internet now. It's worse.
And it's
but
worse.
that's what we
Yeah,
have.
it's nowhere near as good.
It's faster.
not as
It's faster.
Mm-hmm.
It's worse.
Yeah, but now it's like it's all about Marvel movies and bullshit. It's not even about video games anymore. All these gaming websites.
There's game sites out there that still cater just to games, but the big site, that's on you. Go find the content you want, Johnny. It's there.
Well, I do.
Desperate for you to find it.
Long form video essays by small audience YouTubers. That's what I do.
Me too. That's what I do as well. Let's see, what else? New Siren game was teased by
Whoa.
PlayStation Japan.
I like the bugs.
yesterday.
So do they have? Is it still bug zombies? Because I really like.
It
the
doesn't
monster
say.
design.
It is the lightest teaser. It's basically just sound over like the siren sound effect over some still imagery of looks like a bunch of people are walking through like a sea of blood or something like that. But it's pretty obviously a siren game. I'm excited. I hope we get to do more sight jacking. Remember sight jacking?
Oh yeah, that was that was cool.
I've never heard of a Siren game, and I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's like, imagine it's kind of like a Silent Hill, except instead of zombies, people turn into like bug monsters, and they try to like keep doing their lives, but they're like shuffling bug corpse people.
Yeah.
And they're still like talking about their everyday stuff, like, gotta go to the store later. It's really neat.
But if they see you, they will instantly try to murder you. And the whole mechanic in the game is that you can like jack into their brains and you can see what they're seeing, so you can see like their patrol routes and stuff and understand where their lines of sights are and like
It's
sneak around
real terrifying. Like when you sort of see them
terrifying.
see you. And, oh man.
And it has kind of it has a really great version of Japanese horror. It's legitimately creepy. The whole game is, the whole setup for the game has to deal with Japanese folklore. It's really, really scary.
I've only played the one that came out on PS3, the one that was like 13 DLC episodes. Because they broke it up.
Was that Siren Blood Curse?
Yeah, that's the only one I played.
Yeah. Siren. I played the original Siren. That was a PS2 game, I think. Right?
It was the one where the
I played
faces
that.
Like video files, so it looked very.
Yes.
The faces were kind of realistic but weird.
It was like really creepy, uncanny valley stuff. It was, and that game was so hard. I don't think I ever beat it when I had the original. It was very difficult.
Blood Curse was pretty easy. But I think yeah, because I think that's supposed to be a remake of the first one, kind of.
I think it is, yeah. Anyway, that's fun.
A new Darksiders project was teased as well. I don't know. It wasn't clear if it was a new game or maybe a remaster or who knows. But
people didn't like that first one, or not third one. People didn't like that third one at all.
Yeah, there's 4 now. There was a top-down one as well, I think, where you were able to maybe play all 3 of the horsemen that were from the first 3 games. I never played it. I don't know. And I never played the third one either because it got bad reviews.
Sure
and
did.
the second one was one of the worst games I've ever played, but I do still have a soft spot for the first one.
Yeah, the first one was great.
I like the first one.
We could totally play that on the show sometime.
Yeah, we could. It's a Zelda-like, at least. Mm-hmm. I played it not too long ago, actually. Maybe a year ago, something like that. It was fun.
Oh, that's cool.
But anyway, that's exciting, I guess. Like, I'm down for more Darksiders. Oh, you know what? There was another tease. It got leaked at, maybe it was Comic-Con. Somebody spotted some merch for a Legacy of Kain remake or remaster.
All 3 games, right? Oh no,
it's just Soul Reaver 1 and 2.
Nothing was announced.
Soul Reaver 1 and 2.
Oh,
Nothing's been announced, so nobody really knows. But
no Ve Victus then. Ve Victus.
That rumor has been bubbling for a minute.
I love Soul Reaver. So
are those games on Steam?
Let me tell you something, Jim. The controls in those games are unfucking playable to modern audiences.
Super trash. Yeah. I tried to play that. I tried to play Soul Reaver on an emulator. I think it was last year, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" The camera control is awful.
It says the branding was for Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered. So,
that's cool.
I mean, listen, I'm 100% there. And remastered, as long as they can remaster the controls, that would be amazing. I adore those games.
There was this, Nintendo was doing these like sneaky promos for an M-rated game, and it had this like horrifying character who, what do you have, a paper bag on his head, Jim?
Yeah, it was like a guy in, I think it was like a trench coat with a paper bag on his face with a smiley face.
Yeah, and his name was Emio, and it turned out to be a promo for the next Famicom Detective Club, the murder mystery game. The first 2 originally came out on the Nintendo Famicom back in the 80s, and were remastered for Switch a couple of years ago. I picked because they both came in a 2-pack. So I got that. I haven't really played them, so I need to play those before getting any new ones. But that's fun. It's like a horror mystery visual novel. Well, more Japanese adventure game.
That's interesting.
In sad news, Bungie laid off, 17% of its staff or something?
Yeah, that's quite a lot. Mm-hmm. And then the guy that ran it also bought $23
million in cars.
Classic cars. Like, well, I'm feeling a bit down about having to lay all these people off, so I should buy a few classic cars just to take the edge off.
Yeah, just some self-care.
Cool. Capitalism is cool. Late stage capitalism is really cool.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that's it for hot gaming news. Jim, we have a level up to share this week.
Oh, we do. It's a co-level up.
Whoa. Johnny, you better put your fingers in your ears because we're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Matt, I don't care. Don't worry about it.
It was really good. It was great, and I really enjoyed it a lot, and I thought it was super fun and funny, and the action was really good, and it had lots of fun surprises, some of which I had read about ahead of time, unfortunately, but many of which I had not. A lot of which you could probably have guessed, some of which really took me by surprise. Great time. What did you think, Jim?
I thought the movie was great. I get a lot of joy out of shitting on Marvel movies to Matt, just because.
Yeah, you said it was trash, and I believed you. I was like, oh,
it's
Jim
just
really
a fun
hated it.
hobby. No, I liked it. I thought it was good. From I've seen it twice since it came out. It's like, even if you stripped away all the Marvel stuff and gave them like different names, like if they were new superheroes or something, it would still be a fucking hilarious comedy. It is legitimately funny. It's got a funny setup. The writing, like, it's got a million jokes a minute. I would say 90% of them land. It's just a funny movie. Some of the stuff got a little bit annoying. The shitting on Fox was, it's funny the first time, but got kind of annoying.
No, it was great the whole time. Fuck Fox. Fuck those Fox X-Men movies. I despise them.
But also, man, it's a good movie. It moved along at it was long, but it moved along at a nice clip. Great seeing Hugh Jackman back. He was fucking fantastic in the movie.
Yeah, if you've seen the previews, he's in costume. He's got that mask on at some point. Like, all that stuff fucking lands.
It's really, but like, what I liked about it is it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It is so funny. Like, Amanda and I were laughing so loud at some parts. Like, the theater was just erupting in laughter throughout the entire movie. It's super fun.
Yep, it was great, and I think it partially works because it was able to tap into a lot of emotional weight kind of from other Fox X-Men movies, particularly Logan, I think, obviously. But
so were they like, where does this fit in with Logan? And they're like, it doesn't. Don't worry about it.
Well, John,
it's so complicated.
The plot of the movie really makes no sense.
Oh, okay.
So best to just think the plot really doesn't matter. If you try to think about it even a little bit, you realize it doesn't make any fucking sense at all. I was texting Matt about it, and I was like, hey, this doesn't make any sense, and Matt's like, nope, it sure doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Listen, this multiverse stuff rarely makes sense, and like, you just you can go with it or not, and if you're not willing to go with it, you're not going to enjoy it. But listen, I love Avengers Endgame a lot. Some people had some problems with some of the inconsistencies, and I just don't, because, I mean, this shit can never make sense. Do you know why? Because it's not real. And I don't mean as in, oh, well, it's fiction, so it's not real. I mean, like, we're talking about bizarre impossibilities. There's going to be inconsistencies. It's just what it is. And you can either roll with that, or you can be a fucking stick in the mud. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it was fucking hilarious, and we're not going to spoil anything, but I did look up the post-credit scene on YouTube today and found it hilarious.
Oh yeah. Oh, did you not see it when you went to the theater?
No. So I told you guys, but I had a weird experience where lightning struck the theater and the projector was out for 20 minutes, and then somebody jokingly said, "Roll it back to Dogpool," which is he's in the fucking commercials. Roll it back to the dog pool scene, which was 20 minutes before where we had stopped. So I waited 20 minutes, and then I rewatched 20 minutes of the movie. It was 100% full. It was hot. It's an over 2-hour movie. There were 35 minutes of previews. Fuck you, movie theaters, and your 35 minutes of previews. So when the credits started rolling, we looked at each other and just said, nah, I don't care what it is. I'll watch it on YouTube. They always show up on YouTube. I'll get the joke later. I don't need it.
There is a and this isn't a spoiler, but over the end credits, they do have like they show a lot of behind the scenes footage of like Hugh Jackman filming like the first X-Men movie. And like there's interview footage of him talking about how nervous he was being like the new guy on set. He was kind of an unknown quantity at the time. And then I fucking hate Ryan Reynolds, but there's some behind the scenes footage of him talking about how much he wanted to play Deadpool eventually.
Yeah, he worked on he tried to get that movie off the ground for a decade.
Yeah, and so that was really sweet.
Why do you hate Ryan Reynolds? Like, I get that his shtick can be annoying, but like, he seems like a decent guy.
He's a hometown hero. People love him here.
Oh right, he is Canadian. There's a good Canada joke. There's a good Canada joke in there as well when someone insults Canada.
There's a Welcome to Wrexham reference in there. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the shit that I don't care about. Like he's a rich dude that bought a soccer team. I kind of don't give a shit.
Yeah. Welcome to Wrexham.
But I think that's more just my anti-rich people.
Yeah, I feel you.
Bias bleeding
but it's
through.
not like I don't know Ryan Reynolds. Maybe
Ryan Reynolds
grew up
is
rich
close
as
to
shit.
a billionaire.
Maybe he grew up poor as shit. I don't know. He does have a lot of money now, and that's great for him. Everybody, like, I would like to have a lot of money.
Right now, he's he does acting. He's also like a venture capitalist.
Well, he bought into
like
some mobile platform that then they sold to AT&T or T-Mobile or somebody for a shitload of money.
He also owns a big advertising tech platform that I've worked with called Mountain. He's one of the owners of this company called Mountain, which owns a ton of connected TV inventory. So like the ads you see on Hulu and that kind of stuff. He owns one of the media serving platforms for that, which I'm sure makes him a shitload of money.
Yeah. Oh, good. Until relatively recently, I don't know that he was making a shitload of money from acting. So good for him in taking that money and turning it into more money. There's nothing wrong with that.
I think he also owns like a vodka or something.
I mean, don't they all own a fucking liquor at this point?
Yeah, pretty much. George Clooney did it, and then everybody did it.
I remember when the guys from Breaking Bad came through town, and all my friends were so excited about going and meeting them at their liquor tasting. Or whatever.
They're like,
I was like, I couldn't
vodka
care less.
shit, yeah, or tequila. It was like a mezcal, I think.
I have no idea. I don't care.
A mezcal?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
I don't give a shit about meeting celebrities. Like, I don't care. What's the purpose of this?
Well, yeah, it's a good movie. Anything to add to your level up, Matt?
Yeah, not much. I got sick. I've been playing Tactics Ogre a bunch. I'm way ahead, which is great because I'm starting a new job on Monday, and it's going to be busy. I'm going to have a very busy couple of months.
Matt has changed to Blue Mage.
Yeah, yep. I'm a Blue Mage now. I'm going to eat my enemies and then spit their power back at them. So I'm excited about that. And I basically spent my week being sick and working in my last week at my job, but also kind of half-assing it and definitely watching a lot. I watched a lot of Marvel movies. Deadpool got me in the mood for Marvel. And Marvel movies are perfect when you're not feeling well and you just want to like put on something that's fun to watch and you don't have to think too hard about. So I've kind of, not all of them, but I've been watching through kind of my favorites like Avengers and Winter Soldier and Civil War and some of the interconnected stuff. So that's been fun. But yeah, that's it for me. Jim, did you have anything else? You went and saw Trap, didn't you? Or that's tomorrow?
No, going to see that tomorrow. I've got 3 movies lined up to see in the next couple weeks. There's Trap, there's Cuckoo, and there's Alien Romulus.
I really want to see Alien Romulus, and there's nobody on Earth that's going to go with me to that movie.
Aww.
That's going to be like a week 3, and I just go see it by my fucking self movie.
Oh, I go see movies alone a lot.
I don't have a problem with it, actually. It's quite pleasant to just go sit. Particularly the theater I like to go to has a bar, so about halfway through the movie, I can go get, a heavy IPA and just kind of sip on I did that during Godzilla -1, and it was delightful.
Oh yeah, I go to the Alamo and they have like a full bar there, so you can order whatever you want. But I did start playing Amnesia: The Bunker, the new Amnesia game that came out. I think it was last year. That game's really scary and it's really fun. It's like you're in like a procedurally generated dungeon. The idea is to find the dynamite to blow open this bunker so you can escape. You're in like a French World War I bunker. But there's like a monster that can find you and kill you if you make too much noise. So You got to kind of avoid some traps that other soldiers have set. You got to make sure that your flashlight you have is like a crank flashlight, so you got to crank it sparingly so the monster doesn't hear you crank it. It's real scary, and I like it quite a bit. I tried playing Callisto Protocol again. That game sucks. Josh Duhamel sucks.
Oh, is he in that? Yuck.
He's the main character.
Is
God,
he?
he's fucking terrible. Yeah, he
does
sucks.
Is that on PlayStation Plus or
It's
whatever?
on Game Pass.
Oh, is it on Game Pass?
I bought it. I bought it for the PS5 when it came out, being like, "Oh, great! It's gonna be like a new Dead Space."
Yeah,
and
you were so
fucking
excited
Josh
about
Duhamel
it.
shows up. It's not a badly made game. Like, it looks great, but it's just not very much fun to play. It's kind of miserable, actually. And it's got Yukiko from The Boys in it too. Just fun. I think that's pretty much all that I did. I watched Spawn last night for some reason from the 90s.
That movie is fucking awful.
It is fucking Nintendo 64 level CGI for the
Yeah.
demons in that. It looks
Yeah.
terrible.
John
never seen that.
Leguizamo as
It
the
looked
clown is
terrible.
atrocious. You know, I
he's playing clown.
liked Spawn back in the 90s. It never had much of a plot, but at least it had an interesting premise and the art was gorgeous. But boy, is that a remnant of the 90s that just will not go away.
I liked that soundtrack where it paired electronica artists with like heavy metal artists. Yeah, there's some
Yeah,
good
I
tracks
actually
on there.
I owned that soundtrack for
It's
sure.
a good soundtrack.
Me too. And they had so you guys remember the Mortal Kombat soundtrack with the famous Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
song? They had a like a secondary release of the soundtrack that was called Mortal Kombat More Combat, and that's the whole thing was electronica and like Coal Chamber or like Sepultura and stuff like that. It was pretty good.
I kind of like Cold Chamber.
What's the name of the guy that did Spawn? McFarlane?
Yeah,
Todd McFarlane.
Todd McFarlane. He's been threatening another Spawn movie starring Jamie Foxx for like the last 5 years.
Is Jamie Foxx bulky enough? Because I feel like Spawn's
Jamie Foxx
a big
seems
dude.
like he's in any old piece of trash anymore. He's a trashman. He's doing tons of trash. He's like in his like late John Travolta phase of his career right now.
Because Luke Cage guy could do Spawn for sure. Because he's big enough.
Luke Cage guy would be great as Spawn.
I mean, yeah, probably. I'm sure he could. He's a good actor. But to me, Spawn isn't like a big, bulky dude. He's not a muscly superhero, you know? He's
not? Okay. I just remember from the art, he always looked like
I
super
guess,
huge.
but
Yeah, he was always really ripped. Well, that's just how McFarlane likes to draw.
that's how he draws. Yeah.
I don't think
big
of Spawn
veiny.
as being really ripped, to be honest with you. I think of Spawn as being, he's a corpse. It's a fucking walking corpse.
Yeah, I had some of the Spawn comics when I was younger. I don't know how. I think maybe like an older kid that I know gave them to me because there was no place to buy comics where I grew up.
Oh wow!
You had to drive like an hour to buy comics if
Go
you
to
wanted
Lawrence.
comics. You had to drive to Manhattan or Salina.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
To get any kind of comics. But yeah, I had some Spawn comics, and I was like, God damn, these are violent. I felt like I had to like read it like under the covers or whatever, so nobody saw me.
Jim grew up in
read-through
Smallville.
Yeah, he did.
I
I
did.
did a big read-through of Spawn a few years ago where I read through the trades like through, I don't know, 250 issues or something. And I gotta say, it is trash. Like,
Yeah.
there is just no plot to speak of. It is just
Nothing
nothing
just
happens.
Violent panel to violent
It
panel.
is-
To
yeah,
violent
nothing
panel.
happens. Somebody dies. Nothing happens. Somebody dies. Nothing happens. Somebody dies. And then there's some sort of resolution where you're like, wait, what?
And then you cut to Sam and Twitch
Yeah.
for no reason.
They had their own spin-off comic.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
they
Actually,
did.
I think it's pretty well liked, but I don't think I ever read it.
Yeah,
I read a
heard
couple
it was
of
good.
those.
So that's how I leveled up. John, how about you, buddy?
Well, I did watch some badminton, and just thought it was fun. It was like a prelims, but the CBC Gem Olympics app and website is pretty good. You can just like watch no commentary, just hear like live sound from the game, or the match or whatever they're doing.
Oh yeah,
I like doing that.
the like rackets hitting the badminton.
yeah, and just
Oh,
like
that's a very
the-
pleasant sound.
the Malaysians, coach yelling at them, and the Chinese coaches like looking smug. It was very cool. Just cool. Like, because you really see that these are kids. Like, I mean, these are like late teens, early 20s kids, and it's crazy how much their life has led to this moment and how huge it must be for them. And that's really, it's really touching.
That's a cool part about the Olympics, man. Everybody's out there living their dream.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I watched Shot Put for less wholesome reasons, because there's very large men in that one, and I think weightlifting's coming up in a couple of days, and that's going to be another.
Oh, the powerlifting?
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yep. Otherwise, I did watch the episode of Mr. and Mrs. Smith with John Turturro. That was interesting. You all like John Turturro? Sure. And been working on my video. Because I divide the script up into parts, and then I edit each like sort of a chunk as a part, and so I'm in part 2, which is the longest one. It's sort of the walkthrough of the entire game. And to make it less boring, I put in lots of fun clips, like explaining what Hare Krishnas are, because they were a big part of Grand Theft Auto 1. You got bonuses for killing all of them as they walked in a line. And I sort of explaining what that was all about and where the joke was. But then, like, I ruin any kind of humor by explaining why they stopped being a big deal in North America due to, like, horrible abuse. And then I'm like, anyway, here's Airplane. And I just cut to a clip from Airplane. Yeah. Anyway, so that's been going on, and that's about it. I have been pretty boring. Can't say I've done much else. Vanessa, what did Vanessa want us to say? Oh, something about her, like a euphemism about eye drops, right?
She wanted to talk about giving
Martin Hatch's eye, or Liam
Hatch's eye drops.
Yeah, she wanted to make a euphemism about that.
No thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Are you ready to open up a quest log?
Man, this always goes so much faster when there's 4 of us. It's ridiculous.
3 of us. There's 3 of us.
3 of us. Yeah, I'm dumb.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to talk about this chunker. This was a cool chunker.
Yeah, a lot happened. Although Act 3 was really short. Really short.
It was really short, yeah.
Only had 2 parts to it. And it was all combat, pretty much. There was no adventure game portion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk to... I'm kind of sad Vanessa's not here, because she mentioned in the chat earlier this week or last weekend that she wished that that this game had just not had the combat and had just stuck to being like a weird time puzzles.
Yeah, like platformer. A Remedy. I think that I remember the combat being way bigger part of the game the first time I played it, but I think now I've played so many Remedy games since the first time I played this, and now that I just run through that combat. I haven't had any issues yet. I'm still playing on normal.
I don't have any issues either, but I actually was thinking about it. Like, here's the thing: is that much like my complaint with Alan Wake 2 and Control, is that I just don't really enjoy the combat in these games very much. I don't mind it; like I can get through it, but it's not what really keeps me going. And I think she's right. Like, I think this would be a much more interesting game. Like, particularly the set pieces that they do. Like was last week we did the cargo ship that's falling apart around you.
Yeah. The dry dock.
And I would love it if that was just the whole game, basically. And I like the idea of, like, there being guards around shooting at you, but, like, why do you have to shoot them? You're moving through time. Like, just
yeah, I kind of wish that taking their guns was defeating them, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just avoid them. Like, that. And then it's more like a puzzle and less combat, but, like, you know, you could still be dodging bullets and stuff, but, like, why do you have to be killing all these people? Like, you really don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this.
I think there could have been a really cool third-person kind of stealth game where you're using time powers to, like, move through environments and avoid enemies. I think
don't even
that
know
could have been
stealth,
a cool game.
Really. Like, you know.
A puzzle, like a bit like
shooting
Super
at you,
Hot.
but you're just, you know, it's almost like you could almost do the same thing with like a Flash game or like a super powered speedster game, like where
Yeah.
you don't have to fight people. Like you can just avoid them and walk by them, and
Yeah,
they
the
could be
puzzle,
shooting
the
at you and
combat could be a
stuff, and-
puzzle about getting through the room, not a kill these different types of enemies and there's 3 waves.
Yeah, not a wave shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
that's
at
not
least-
even necessarily a puzzle, but like a puzzle's one way to say it. But I enjoy the platforming stuff in this game, particularly with the weird time stuff. And like if it was just kind of more of that and less of wave shooting, it's not a huge complaint. Like I'm getting through it just fine.
But that was like I had the same complaints about the Uncharted games, that the shooting parts seemed boring and unnecessary most of the time.
Yeah, and you're killing like thousands of people in those games.
Yeah.
I rage quit this game today. I got through the entire game on normal with really no issues, and then I got to the final encounter. John, I'm not even kidding. I bet I died 15 times in a row. Talk about it more in the next
I died
chunker.
to the main boss of the AWE expansion and Control like 50 times. That
Oh, really?
yeah, that was too hard for Johnny. Johnny's little fingers couldn't. Maybe now. Maybe that I've put in more remedy time since then. I could try to go back.
you've got your remedy muscles now.
My little
All right, you want to get
fingies
into
for it.
Act 3?
So we start off at the research facility. Now, for me, I had a key given to me by Martin Hatch. How did you guys escape?
Beth frees you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Beth frees you, then you jump into like a Lamborghini and drive away.
Whoa, that's
What?
radical.
No. That's not what happens at
Oh
all.
wait, is that at the end of this?
Yes, that's the end of the.
Okay, that's at the end of this.
Beth frees you and releases you out into the facility, and
Oh, yeah.
you have to kind of make it.
right.
There's low security because security is focused on the gala, so you are there's not as much combat here. You get in some fights, but not a ton.
Yeah, because
Beth
you're looking
frees
for.
you, and you're looking for Amaral.
Yeah,
Sophia
Dr.
Amaral.
Amaral. Yeah.
Yeah, and Beth frees you, and she's like, "Well, I just blew my cover." She's like, it's probably gonna last a few more hours, but like I can't be seen with you, so you separate, and then you have to make your way to Amaral on your own."
And there's a whole bunch of fun to find chronon particles or whatever they're called. The chronon sources.
The chronon sources. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really good ones here. Some like puzzles to get to them and stuff. I like that. Yeah, you're right. Like as the adventure gamey part, that is more fun than the combat-y part. Especially like there's the juggernauts that get introduced now, and they are just bullet sponges unless you. I mean, once you fully upgrade your time things, all you have to do is time zap behind them and then shoot them with a shotgun twice, and they're dead. But
Yeah.
The first thing I upgraded was the time zip fully. Like that was the first thing I did. So
Yeah.
Well, because you can do
problems
instant
with this.
takedowns of regular enemies with that,
Yeah.
which makes it very useful when you're getting to be a little overwhelmed.
well, and there's 2 kinds of time zips. There's like the run that you get here, and then there's also the
dodge.
The dodge. And the dodge actually I think both of them give the run gives you the takedown, so you can add a second takedown, so you can take down 2
Yeah.
people. And then the
I've
zip
never
you
had
can-
2 of them close enough to take down.
I only did it once in the entire game. I only remember to do it once.
and the time zips like cuz the juggernauts have this big glowing circle on their back that you shoot.
Yeah.
A shotgun will take care of that. There is you get a sniper rifle once you get upstairs. That was pretty cool.
Does it
I
have a
like
scope?
that.
No,
no,
right?
no scope.
That carbine rifle,
Yeah.
I stuck with that through the last whole third of the game.
Oh, but
Once I
it
got
takes
that, I
the
was like,
same
I'm not losing it.
spot as the shotgun, and I'm more
It does.
I'm more of a shotgun guy when it comes to those juggernauts. You know,
That carbine rifle will one-shot regular enemies, so it's very useful to have in your inventory, and it's got hella range. You can shoot a guy from clear across an arena, and you'll like still get the aim assist snap on them. So it's super useful for taking out those snipers and for dudes who are like way far away.
Yeah.
if you don't want to leave cover.
Jim took a great picture of a guy coming out of the office and tripping, and as you walk by him, he's like, "Whoa!" Because
It's
there's
like, oh, my TPS report.
You can push them around the reports. It's funny.
because
All right, so
time
let's-
stutters are getting worse and worse, and throughout
Yeah.
most of like the first half of this, everyone's stuck in time. I did like you knew what was coming. You knew that they were going to get unstuck, and you're going to have to fight all these guys. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
So we head into the research facility, right? Mm-hmm. And what do we have to do? We have to kind of pass through some. You do run into your first. What are they called? Dampeners that'll like shut down your time powers. Those are fucking annoying.
They totally take out all your time powers, and then you also have to. There's a few like corridors you have to get through quickly. I didn't understand when the screen's red. It means like if you don't move, you're going to die. Like
Yeah.
that took me a little while to figure out. So you're looking for Sophia Amaral. You get to her office, and she is not there.
You can find some notes on computers that say that they're going to. So, in our version, because Hatch delivered the speech, he has a whole scheme where he is faking an assassination attempt on himself.
Oh,
And
That kind of comes to nothing.
they are, well, I don't know. They're going to use that assassination as a pretext to evacuate Amaral from her office to a safe room. It's like a condo. I don't really know what it is. And then Hatch is going to have a big old drone the size of a car, quote unquote, malfunction and fly into the office that
he
she's
does that
in
in my
to
version
kill
too.
her.
That's a cool scene.
Yeah.
When you get upstairs.
Yeah, well,
So-
we're not there yet, but that's why Sophie is not.
But there's not really a lot happens in the research base. Like you find out that she's not there.
Yeah.
You have to do some
Yeah.
platforming, and you fight a juggernaut.
You find a lot of notes too about these shifters or waveform individuals, and the game is really kind of hitting you over the head with the fact that these are like killing machines.
But they're only. But aren't they
And-
chasing after Paul?
It says that they are
They're attracted to
immediately
Paul.
hostile to anyone that's not a shifter. They're attracted to the stutters.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of surprised. Like I'm 80% through the game and haven't seen one yet. I thought that was. It seemed to be building up to them. I've never seen one. I don't know what they're.
I looked up because I looked up exactly what why they called it a waveform individual and like what exactly is going on with these dudes, because you learn about Henry Kim earlier in the game, who was exposed to chronon energy and now he's like a chronon monster.
Yeah.
kind of. And that's what these shifters are. So when you get exposed to enough chronon energy, or when you're exposed to something like the CFR, your body goes into like quantum superposition, so you're simultaneously existing as all possible versions of yourself at the same time. And apparently it hurts a lot and it makes you really mad. And so these things are dangerous. They don't move through time like other things do, and they're constantly shifting in and out of different realities, and they're very dangerous.
This is what when you see Dr. Kim trapped in the containment booth.
Yeah.
That's what he is, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically like what it is, like it does have a kind of a scientific backing a little bit. Like it's theorized that particles exist as like particles and as waveforms until they're observed, and then they collapse into a single thing. But because these people are in quantum superposition, they're constantly shifting between different
States.
they're not collapsing into a single state. Yeah, they're in like a zero state, so they're constantly shifting. And so you're constantly like shifting into another version of yourself and being shifted from another version and interacting with different versions of yourself. So they say it's like torture.
Well, doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
Also worth noting here, and correct me if this is too early for it, but once they evacuate Dr. Amaral from the lab, Hatch does go and blow up
That's at the end of this act.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do you guys think Hatch's deal is? Let's talk about that for a second.
I know because I looked it up like before or during Control
Yeah.
because I was wondering what he had to do with the guy that there's one like log thing that seems to reference him in Control.
There's one big, so I almost said big log, but there's one like big data entry you can find on Hatch in the last act. It basically lays out his whole deal.
We'll talk about that.
Which, we'll talk about it in the next chunker. But his character seems the most tied into the other properties, I'll say. So interesting.
Yeah. You find out a lot. He says some cryptic, cool things in a moment. So you find out she's not there, and then you have to take a shortcut through a garage to get. You want to go back to the house because she's at the house, at the Monarch Gala. I don't know how you say it.
I got a little stuck in this garage. I couldn't. What you're supposed to do is defeat a wave of enemies and then find an echo. Mm-hmm. And of Liam Burke asking for the gate code, and every time and then you have to follow the echo around the garage a little bit.
That's not what I had to do. Weird.
Oh, that's what I had to do.
Oh, it must be because of the different choice, I guess.
Yeah. So you need the gate code to make your way through the garage, and you don't have it, so you have to trigger this echo with Liam, and then follow it in different areas around the garage to where he finally gets told the code. The code, I don't know if you caught this, Matt, but the code is, they say the code is 665, the neighbor of the beast. That's also a code that Dr. Darling uses in Control. He says 665, the neighbor of the beast.
They used that in I believe they used that in the Alan Wake DLC.
There's a book I read called 668, the neighbor of the beast.
In the one with Jesse. I don't remember what it was called.
Oh, the Coffee World one.
Yeah, I think that's where I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, isn't that the code you have to put in to get into the warehouse where the coffee thing is stalking you?
Yes, you're right.
And then you have to give up your guns. Yeah.
So for me, all I had to do was go to this little office where there's a button to unlock a door or something, or turn off an alarm. It was a button to turn off the alarm so that the lockdown would end. And I open it, and then there's just like a juggernaut being like, boo! And he like knocks the door down and knocks Jack down. You have to fight him while waves of people come through. There's a book on tape you can find that's a quantum ripple.
Oh, really?
It's pretty funny.
I guess that was a quantum ripple. Like you hold down, you like turn your radio on and leave it next to the book so that that's all they can hear over the radio is the book on tape. Mm-hmm.
That was pretty funny. And that does show up in the TV show as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
There's big firefight. I loved just the physics and stuff, all the cars exploding, this stuff. This really is the best looking Xbox One game, I think. It looks pretty fantastic.
Think it is. If it had maybe 10% fewer frame drops,
a
lot of frame drops in this game.
Even on Series X,
I think I would be a lot more. I would be a lot more enthusiastic about it. But fucking frames are dropping left and right in this game.
A lot of stutters.
Quantum. It's just quantum stutters. That's all.
Oh yeah, that's just the environment.
Yeah, time's falling apart.
Yeah.
So you get out of the garage and you climb up to the mansion level, and here you've got to stop Dr. Amaral. You see the drone; it's stuttered right before it hits the window, and you have to save her.
Yeah, and I mean, first you have to walk through the gala, which you meet up with not Jesse. You meet up with Beth again. Mm-hmm. And I think you learned some stuff here, but now I kind of can't remember what.
Yeah.
But you do get to kind of walk through the gala, which I thought was pretty fun. Everything's frozen, and you can like see all the, buffets, and it's neat. Everybody's mostly cleared out because of the shooting, so.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
that's right. You have to get the from Amaral's office. You have to get the I don't remember what they call it. The thing that you give Jessie that lets her not get stuck in time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So you get that, and then you find Jessie, and she's stuck in the stutter, and you put the machine on her and pull her,
Yeah.
into active time or whatever. And
Yeah. Beth.
She's
not Jets.
Whatever.
And so you pull her out of time. You save Dr. Amaral, and Beth grabs her. She's very angry.
You're right, though, that when you see that the drone is about to crash into the window,
great.
that's pretty cool. It actually kind of annoyed me because you pull her into active time as well, and then you have to, threaten her, and
He
and
was
Beth has
too
to,
shitty to her, I thought.
Yeah,
for a lead character.
I don't know why he didn't just point at the window and go lady, I'm saving your fucking life. That should have been enough for anybody on Earth to be hey, do you see that? And oh, by the way, I've been collecting these files. Here's the files where Martin Hatch was I'm going to kill Dr. Amaral. Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the end of it, right? That's it. No, of course I want to come with you. These people want to kill me. But instead he's I'll fucking shoot you.
Yeah, it seemed really weird.
Is Sophia Amaral the least likable character in this game?
No.
I think she is.
Why would you say that?
I think she is.
God forbid a woman have fucking a degree in something.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, she's
Jim's
too
intimidated
smart.
by her intelligence.
I am.
Wow.
I think my only real complaint is the fucking, as John called it, her severe bob is, oof, it's a lot.
That wig is terrible.
Man, in episode 4, she fucking gets it. We'll talk about it.
In one of the two, she doesn't get it.
In one of the two,
Yeah.
The one I got.
Yeah.
In the one Jim and I got, she gets it, and the one John got, she gets it. You know what I mean?
Oh wait, okay. She died. I guess she dies in all of them then.
Wow.
I skipped through. I didn't notice her getting killed in the other version. I thought Paul Serene saved her.
No, all right. Well, let's.
Well, okay, we'll talk about that,
shall we? We kidnap her though. Definitely kidnap her, and you were able to. They get away. Beth and the doctor get away on a yacht, which I thought was hilarious. It's like a party yacht. But Jack can't make it aboard and has to fight his way out.
Yeah. So he's got to kill all these snipers. This is kind of one of the more annoying combat zones because there's so many snipers.
Yeah, I agree. And I felt like I was shooting these snipers and I was using the carbine rifle or whatever, and they just wouldn't go down. I guess I just kept missing them. It was really
They
stupid
are
and annoying.
all standing next to explosive things, though. So
even
that's
that
pretty fun.
wasn't working for me. It was really annoying. Though it was funny that there's grills around and you can shoot them and they explode.
Yeah.
I turned up the aim assist to full, and
I should look into that.
It seems like it's less reliable when they're maybe within 50 feet of you, but if they're a long distance away, that thing snaps to those enemies so well. But if you're 5 feet from them, nope.
Yeah.
So there's it's just a big combat arena. You take out the snipers. There's more shotgun men's and stuff. But now I've upgraded time zip and time run so much that I can just. I haven't had a difficult combat encounter other than dealing with the snipers, just because you have to be really careful that they don't see you because they will take out most
a lot
of
of
your
those
health in one
guys
hit.
I would try to rush, honestly.
Yeah.
I got so tired of trying to snipe back because I find the shooting controls so bad in this that I got real sick of it, and I would just try to rush them and then get them like that. Even locking them in a time bubble was not working for me. It was
weird.
annoying. I mean, it worked. It's just I couldn't. I don't know. It was annoying. None of this is hard, but it can be frustrating. But then you do steal a car and drive away.
It's a sweet Lambo, yeah. I don't know if it's an
Yeah.
actual Lambo, but it's like a real cool sports car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the one that the guy who used to be a piece of shit would drive. White couch, white Ferrari.
Yeah.
Live for New Year's Eve.
What's that from? Is that a reference to something?
Yeah, it's another Remedy
don't
property.
Get it.
Is it? Isn't that I think you
No.
should leave?
Yeah.
Should leave.
Sorry, I just had to be sure. I had to be
My
sure.
sarcasm fooled John about a reference to a show he's watched 100 times. And
I've
we've
only
all
seen it
referenced
twice.
So many
No,
times that I
once.
hate it.
I've seen it once, maybe. And anyway, so I then went. So you go and leave in your cool sports car, and
Yep, and it's time for Junction 3.
yeah.
This
So
one
do you
sucks.
trust Martin Hatch or do you trust Sophia Amaral? Jim said this was the least consequential one. Is that right? Or was it the last one? It was Junction 2?
No. It was Junction 2, yeah.
For me, the way I look at these is that Paul sucks, and whatever is going to make life harder for him is probably what I should go for, I think.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't do that in the
Yeah.
first one, but because I did the PR, which made life easier for him. But anyway, in this one, I decided, fuck him. I know that Martin wants to kill him, and I want him to die, so I trusted Hatch and not Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
And now you guys say what you did.
I trusted Hatch and not Sophia.
Yeah, I trusted Sophia.
Ooh.
That's good.
Hatch is a bad man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Martin sucks, and I want him to die.
I watched both versions of episode 3 or like skimmed through it. They look pretty similar. I don't think...
Oh, for episode 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's a lot that's different. Although I did really like the Liam, Charlie, Fiona stuff in episode 3. I've really come around on Liam Burke as a character. I think he's a good character.
I
He's
don't agree
alright.
with that. I've come around on Charlie some. Like, he's
Me too.
okay. He's a self-serving douchebag, but he seems to try to do the right thing sometimes.
Yeah.
He gets a nice little redemption at the end of episode 4.
Yeah,
They
no
do
matter
a
which
decent
path
job
you
of
choose.
him. It's a small thing, but they do a decent job of him carrying around the sword from the drink that what's her name gave him? I can't
Fiona.
remember. Fiona gave him, and it is very much like playing on your like this poor rejected man, which
Yeah, that's not
he's
great.
a douche, and it's not like
There's some weird incel stuff in here.
No, I don't agree with that. So that's what I was going to say is that I don't agree with that. Like they play on that, but that's true. That's just true to life. What you do with it is what matters. And he consistently does not necessarily the right thing overall, but he does the right thing with Fiona. Like he doesn't force her into doing anything. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't. He maybe
And she was using him to get information and manipulate.
but he
Yeah.
still he consistently saves her and doesn't really, even though it's a weird line that they're walking where like he clearly is hoping that this will like earn him some favor, but he is not expecting or demanding that from her, and that's
True.
that's not bad. Like not everybody's fucking altruistic all the time. Like it's fine.
True. I found a narrative object in Act 3 that made it was seemingly just for purposes of tying in the episode to the gameplay, because you can find Fiona's cocktail napkin, and she wrote out like, keep getting Charlie drunk and get him to leave. I'm like, why would you write that down?
Yeah,
if you're trying to execute a secret plan, you're not going to write it down on a cocktail napkin for any old asshole to pick up.
So Charlie
what happens
goes
in
to
episode 3?
Charlie goes to see Hatch. And Hatch is like, oh, I guess you don't know about the lifeboat protocol.
That's a good Hatch voice.
Thank you. How about we replace Paul, you and I, with your programming skills? And okay, so depending on which version if Paul trusts Sophia, he activates the lifeboat protocol because he sees that the events are moving faster than they should be.
Yeah.
And if you trust Martin, she activates the lifeboat protocol because she sees that there's only a limited amount of time to do it.
Yeah, at this point in the game, they say that the Meyer-Joyce field to the flow of time could collapse within the next 8 hours.
Mm-hmm. puts a ticking clock on the end of the game here.
Yeah.
And so much happens.
Yeah.
So Liam,
So many files to find.
So Charlie runs off to go figure out this hack the lifeboat protocol. Runs into Liam and Fiona. Liam punches Charlie in the throat and is like, "Oh, he'll be fine." But if he's a jerk again, he won't be fine next time.
I liked
You know
that
what?
Charlie at this point tried to stand up for himself. He was like, I'm fucking done with you and your threats. And then Liam does just fucking punch him in the throat. And honestly, this made me not like Liam. I was like, fuck this dude.
Yeah, Liam sucks.
All he's doing is, like, I get that he's driven to, like, save his wife. Like, that's a relatable and understandable thing, but also, like, you're kind of a bully.
But he also, and he doesn't give her any input into this whole process either. He never tells her right until the end.
She's
basically
just like damseling the whole time.
Was this so? Quick question: was this last week and I'm forgetting, or was it this week and we're skipping? Didn't this one start with Liam going to the hospital and getting his
that's
wife?
at the end because he gets shot.
That's at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right. I
it's
see it now in the
Charlie.
notes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie, Liam, and Fiona are like in this looks like a parking lot.
They're in
maybe?
a tunnel. It's the tunnel, or they're going to go to the tunnel from Gull Island to back to Riverport.
Oh,
Yeah,
and then it starts to flood.
Hatch told Charlie about a secret tunnel because Charlie needs to be at Monarch to do what Hatch wants.
Yeah. And it does start to flood. Meanwhile, Hatch, he takes a little trip out to see Dr. Kim, and Dr. Kim is still lawnmowing Manning in the containment unit.
Yeah, you find a note in Act 4 that says that Hatch was the only one who was present during Henry Kim's accident, and they're suspicious that he may have been the one to cause it.
Well, he does look at him, he's like, "Old friend, we shall make the world anew, and we're besties, so anyway, here's Wonderwall." And he does take out a little bleepy boopy bomb blooper and then explodes the containment facility in a cool slow motion shot as he's walking away from the explosion, not looking at it, not getting hit by debris or anything.
Is this also where he blows up the lab where they make Paul's meds?
It's the same place.
His treatment.
It's
his treatment. Yeah.
Dr. Kim is in the
and he uses a fake fingerprint of Dr. Amaral to get to access it so that later he can frame her to Paul.
Yeah. So Dr. Fart
Jim.
So there's that bad guy in like Time Squad that Liam used to work with, the bald one. He's the one who killed the girl Amby in my version, and he shoots Liam right away as Liam's talking.
I was like, because he's talking to Liam after he shoots him, and he's like, "I can't wait to kill your wife." And I was like, "Should I know who this guy is, or is he just random evil monarch?"
In my version,
random evil monarch guy is what I thought. I'm sure
he's from Liam's Time Squad, basically.
Yeah. Charlie does save Fiona here as well. Like he's got the pass to get back. You know, he's like, Mr. Hatch has told me to get here and do this, and after Liam has been shot, the guy's about to shoot him, and the guy asks about Fiona, and he's like, "No, this is a scientist. I need her help. Like, you can't. Like, we're working here. Like, we're not with this guy. He just, assaulted us.
We're just randomly here. Don't even.
He once again saves Fiona,
fine.
who gets in a car and it's like,
fine.
"Fuck you," and drives off. But at least he fucking saved her.
So bad guy is like leaning over Liam, being like, "I can't wait to like murder your wife," but Liam's not actually dead.
Weird.
He has a little knife in his shoe, and then he slashes that guy's
I believe
throat.
it's called a baby knife.
Oh, he has a baby knife, and then shoots him like 50 times in the head afterwards to make sure he's super dead. And then
I mean, I liked that. It was like he was pissed. Like he kills him and then he shoots him like 6 more times.
Yeah, I was really surprised by how bloody the live action stuff is.
Yeah.
It's pretty bloody.
I mean, why wouldn't it be? We keep calling it a TV show, but this certainly was never played on a fucking TV network or anything.
Yeah.
It's a fucking it's a live action cutscene.
And it's just squibs.
Calling it.
It's not like The Stand where you saw like legs ripped open and tube neck mom barfing up rats or something.
Very basic effects, but like
tube neck mom barfing up rats. What the fuck?
I'm talking about The Stand. Like
when
the gross effects.
When you see the musician's mom and that like rat comes out of her mouth when he's in the sewer.
Mm-hmm. Did you watch that the penultimate episode with the head?
I
the
haven't.
plate?
Yeah, I think
it's a real good head.
I think I might check it out tonight. I might get a little stony baloney.
Yeah, you should. You should. And watch that last episode because it is bonkers.
Jim, marijuana is not legal in the state of Nebraska, so I believe that you are legally required to say phony baloney.
You're getting intoxicated.
Can't wait to get
baloney. That sounds good.
Stony Filoni sounds like I'm committing a felony.
Well, you are. You are.
I mean,
no, it's THCA, guys.
Yeah, that's why it's phony.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not explicitly legal, but it's not explicitly illegal either.
So Hatch shows Paul Serene a screen that says Sophia did it, and Paul's like, But then Paul sees a vision of the other timeline of Hatch being marched through the hallway, arrested, and he's like, but that seems real too. So, I don't know about that. And Liam goes to the hospital. What do you think of this hospital scene, Matt?
I mean, it was a good action scene.
But for the wife, can you imagine, like, the wife being the wife and your husband's in like, oh, hi, Liam, how you doing? And he just, like, kills a guy.
Excuse me. Well, that's not exactly how that goes down. My first question was, why was the Monarch guy there at all? What was he doing there?
I think they're there to like execute his wife.
Yeah. So he comes in and he's like, he's bleeding and he's all fucked up, and he's like, you need to come with me right now. Which, listen, if I'm Liam's wife and I'm like, I dreamt you were a cat, I love you. I'm going. That right? Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Like, something's wrong. I better go with this dude.
I don't know. I'd probably be like, hey, can we deal with your bullet wound first?
And if he says no, we literally have to go right now. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
Anyway, so the Monarch guy's there. It is the Monarch guy who pulls out his gun, and I believe, does he shoot him again?
I think he tries to. I don't think he hits him.
And,
I don't think so either.
And then at that point, they get into an extended fight, and finally Liam chokes him to death. And I am sure that his wife is incredibly shocked, but also, like, the dude shot at him.
Yeah.
Why would she be like, who are you? Like, no, he tried to kill you. Thank God you were able to defend yourself.
I was a little less than impressed with this scene. I thought the hospital like area where they were fighting looked like
it was like a closet. It was like one room.
Yeah, it looked like a closet, one room. And the fighting was mostly them like pushing each other around, like them grappling with each other, and it just wasn't very interesting to watch.
They were hitting each other. It's not amazing, but it's fine. It's serviceable.
Yeah, it was all right.
He does.
Do you guys think was this like Sam Lake trying to be like, maybe I'll get a TV show?
Maybe.
Like, is this Sam Lake wanting to maybe like try to direct more film?
Maybe, yeah. He could be like Hideo Kojima, really wanting to make movies.
Is Sam Lake? Did he direct these episodes? I guess I should have asked that question first.
You should probably
assuming that he did.
Google that question.
Yeah, ask IMDb.
Yeah.
Us fucking idiots.
Did Sam?
So I'll say you don't have to read it. You don't have to read your typing out loud. Just you look it up and we'll vamp for a minute. I guess my problem here is that I found the wife's reactions kind of unbelievable. Like, not that I don't think she shouldn't be surprised, but I don't think that she should suddenly almost turn on her husband and be like, "What's happening? Who are you? What are you talking about?" Somebody tried to shoot him.
Yeah, but I think she's just kind of in shock too that her husband's actually like James Bondy secret agent.
But she doesn't know that at this point. She doesn't know any of that.
Well, but she sees him do like crazy I guess he was a soldier before, so she probably knows that he's killed people.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little silly too. Is like, I guess that this fighting is, I guess, supposed to be so surprising that she's like, what? Which it's not. They're just fucking fighting. Like, this is like sub UFC fighting. You see this shit every day.
Do they, on UFC, do they strangle people with surgical tubing?
I mean, they strangle people with their arms and their legs.
So, cut to...
These episodes were directed by a guy named Ben Katai, who directed 30 Days of Night, Dark Days, which is one of the fucking worst movies I've ever seen.
No, is that the sequel to 30 Days of Night? I really did not like either of them.
He also made some sci-fi properties, which now that I read that, these episodes kind of look like episodes from a sci-fi TV show.
Yeah, they definitely
very much.
The budget's a bit higher
and not direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think what's elevating it is Sam Lake was the creative director, was probably on set for a lot, so I think that probably helped. So
this security guy Pierce gives Serena a little phone call and is like, "There's information I need to give you about Martin Hatch," and that's the big ending of Act 3.
Bum, bum,
So Act 4 seems
also,
to...
Liam drags Emily out of the hospital and talks her into coming with him, and they drive away.
Yeah. Act 4 starts differently, I think, depending on what you did. For me, I'm like sneaking through buildings and Monarch securities everywhere, and there's like protests going on the bridge due to choices I made earlier.
What's the other way it could start?
Well, Vanessa just like walked in. She was just walking into the security zone. She sent us a screenshot of it.
Let's save that for next week because we don't really know that's what.
Oh, is that
walk through security here?
Sorry,
you don't walk through security, but you have to like fight off a bunch of guys, and then you're at the security checkpoint. Jim, did this happen to you? Did you just walk in? Well,
maybe I just misinterpreted. Here, so. I could have misinterpreted Vanessa's screenshot.
Jim, what happened for you?
Oh, no, yeah, you walk through this place and everybody's frozen.
Did you start under the bridge downtown where you drew some blood, or were you up on the bridge?
I was up on the bridge.
Because I started under the bridge downtown.
No, you start in a building.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start in a building and you're trying to evade a helicopter that's flying around.
Okay.
And then you leave from the upper part of the building and then you go down to the bridge. And it's on the main level of the bridge where everybody's frozen.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it is the same general scenario then.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, you go to this gas station, the like boat gas station. Oh no, that's where he wants to meet her, is at the boat gas station on a little island under the bridge.
Station. Yeah. There's got to be an actual term for that.
I think it's
is it just called a boat gas station?
Yeah, I think it's a boat gas station. And yeah, you got a big old fight to get through here. Before that, that's where you do see the secret Night Springs episode where they're trying to get a new Night Springs announcer. Did you get to watch that episode finally?
I did. I watched it today.
What did you think?
And it's people yelling, "All the cows are made of butter.
Horses.
All the cows are made of butter." Oh, horses.
Ponies.
Ponies. You're right. Ponies. Sorry.
You guys just fucking played this today.
Ponies.
And you were both
I didn't.
every single thing wrong.
I played it a few days ago.
I played it today.
I played it last weekend.
Yeah, so there is a secret
brain.
Night Springs episode. I was so happy to see Night Springs show up here.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a few minutes and was like, okay. Like, it's not.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not standing around watching the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that interesting. It was silly.
Yes. So there's
did we not talk about the second? We didn't talk about the second screenplay. Wasn't that in the Act 3?
Was it? I didn't find it.
I don't think I found it either.
Vanessa found it.
I found it.
Oh.
It must have been, because it's certainly not in the fucking time machine or the swimming pool or 2010.
Well, tell me about it. I never found it.
Oh. He goes to the wedding and, oh boy, I don't remember the character's name. He goes to the wedding and he stops the wedding, and then Sophia Mamoral, or whatever her fake name is like, oh,
So fine.
This was all a test. This was all a test. And then to find out if you're cool enough to be like a time hero, and I love you. But then she rips a mask off, and it's Paul Marine again.
Oh, again.
And I don't know. I wish. Okay, you know what? Let's vamp for a minute, because we're not biffing this. I'm gonna look it up.
Well, I'll just
called?
talk about. I mean, this is a time game, so it'll be a break in time, and we'll go back. So we shoot through the boathouse. I had a lot of fun here. Basically, I've been finding almost every Chronon source. I've been getting way better at finding them. There was one that's coming up that was really annoying. But yeah, I've been getting all the Chronon sources, so all my time powers are super strong, and I just zipping through and just blasting everybody, just blasting.
So fiend, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So he goes back to the wedding, and Paul Marine and his girlfriend, so fine, you're right, are getting married. It says so fine is real attractive. If most girls are ham sandwiches, then she's a 16-ounce steak. Mm-hmm. And Bruce enters the wedding and says, stop. And Sophine says, Bruce, I am so happy that you came. And Bruce says, you can't marry Paul Marine. He's a real shitty guy. And Paul Marine says, he's lying. And Bruce says, I'm not. He killed my best friend with time bullets. And it goes on like that. Bruce grabs Sophine's... Bruce has to prove that the time machine is real. So he grabs Sophine's mom, and he gives her... He says, here's a bunch of money for lottery tickets. And then he stabs her with a time knife. And then she appears at the entrance to the wedding chapel, and she's wearing different clothes. And she tells him that she used the money to buy lotto tickets that she knew would win and won a bunch of money. And Sophine says, I've always loved you most, but Paul Marine and I already just got married. And Paul Marine says, it's too late, but then the wedding minister says, or is he? And the minister pulls off his mask, and it's actually George Washington. Yeah. Bruce went back to the past and sent George Washington to the future to pretend to be a wedding minister. But he's not a minister, which means the marriage is not official. But then Paul Marine takes off his mask, and it's SLOBBO.
Yay!
SLOBBO!
And Bruce says that this is actually a fake wedding, and I saved SLOBBO's life and then had him disguise himself as your boyfriend to make it look real. But it was actually a test to see if we were meant to be. And then Sophine says the only thing meant to be is your death. And she pulls out a gun and pulls off her mask, and it's actually Paul Marine again. And Paul Marine reveals a baby and says that he told Sophine that the baby was theirs so that she would see that they were meant to be and that they had a family together and they should get married. But in reality, it's just a baby that he stole that isn't his. And Bruce asks, whose baby is it? And the real Sophine enters wearing futuristic pants and a shirt and says, ours! Because it's Bruce and Sophine's baby. And she says, yes, you're very quick to understand things. I came to the past to tell you that in the future, you and I got married. We had a very active and highly satisfying sex life, which led to the birth of our future child, Uruguay.
Uruguay?
Urugae. Is that Uruguay?
Yeah, it's Uruguay.
It's like That's not how you spell Uruguay.
It's U-R-U.
Uruguay is U-R-U-G-U-A-Y.
Yeah.
That's how you spell Uruguay. He said it's U-R-U-G-A-Y-E.
And then Sophine says, Paul stole our baby and traveled to the past so he could use the baby as a lie to trick younger me to marry him instead by saying it was actually the baby that he would have with me. And past me believed him, and because of that, I did marry Paul Marine and no longer marry you at all. And SLOBBO says, oh, man. And Paul says, it's over, Bruce. We're married. And Bruce says, until death do you part. And then they get into a big fight, the best fight of any movie ever. At the end, Bruce has Paul Marine with a knife at his neck, and Bruce says, it's been a slice. And Bruce lifts his knife up to cut
Doesn't even
Paul
make any
Marine.
sense.
And Paul says, "You won't get me this easy." And Paul aims the gun at himself and shoots himself 30 times. The clip is bigger than a regular pistol. Paul disappears, but then 30 Paul Marines enter. I shot myself 30 times so that I was sent to many different times at the same time, which meant there were 30 of me. Now we're all here to kill you. And then Bruce says, which means that each of you has a time bullet inside of you. Yada, yada, yada. It turns out that Bruce took his gun in the past and added an electric charge to each of his bullets, and he controls the electric charges with a handheld detonator. Again, this is repeating from the first one. And Bruce says that, yes, it's quite shocking, and presses the detonator, and all 30 Paul Marines are electrified from the inside. Bruce says, "Consider this my resignation." Urigay says, "Goo goo gaga." Slobbo says, "Aw yeah." George Washington says, "God bless America." And then Sophine says, "Congratulations, you passed the test. We always believed you were the chosen one, so we traveled to the past to test you, blah, 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 to find out if you're ready to fight the ultimate villain from the future, which is Paul Marine."
Okay.
Bruce says, "I just killed Paul Marine." No, the Paul Marine you've known this whole time has actually been an actor from the future that we paid to play Paul Marine for the test. The actual Paul Marine is exactly the same, but he lives in the future.
That makes sense. The end?
That's why... No, that's close. That's why... That's the only reason why Bruce was kept in a low-level position for so many years without a single promotion. And it appeared that people didn't give you the respect that you clearly deserved. Because in reality, you're the chosen one. And then Sophine says, "We must travel to the future. Are you ready?" And Bruce says, "Looks like it's time to find out." Bruce puts on his shades. George Washington waves the American flag. End of movie. Bruce Savage will return in Time Knife 2, The Reckon.
All right.
I'm sorry that you guys missed that. It was pretty fucking funny. And I'm sorry that my rendition was probably not nearly as good.
It's quite okay. So...
I enjoyed it.
You get up, so they're going to meet you on their yacht, but you have to go through the bridge first. Unfortunately, there's a time snafu, and a freighter starts crashing into the bridge. Chaos ensues. The bridge is falling apart. There's a riot. You walk into a riot happening on board the bridge, and, like, at least I did. I don't know if you guys did.
I did not. There was not a riot. Like I tried to sneak under the bridge, and somebody spotted me and called me out. Just a random civilian. And
yeah, someone's like, "Hey, that's Jack Joyce."
Oh, yeah, you heard that
find...
happen at the end of the first act. Is one of the choices. Remember?
Oh yeah.
So I got the one where everyone's on your side and protesting against Monarch.
So you have to fight a wave of enemies and whatnot, and then the freighter crashes into the bridge, which is pretty fucking cool, actually.
Yeah.
You then have to make your way across the exploding bridge and freighter, and it's awesome.
I died here a bunch of times.
I did too. Thankfully, it's insta kill stuff with the time stuff, but thankfully it was pretty generous on the resets. Like it just put me right back.
Yeah,
where I died.
Yeah, and anytime you touch something that's like in a repeated kind of like boomerang motion because of the time stuff, if you even touch it a little bit, you're dead.
Yeah. But it's a great set piece, and it's really neat and fun to get across. Like it is stress. It's definitely it raises the tension, and you have to use your time powers to jump across a fucking nightmare exploding bridge and boat. Like it's cool.
Pretty cool.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
But eventually, Jack just kind of falls into he gets through it, but he jumps into the water, and then I assume he gets picked up by Beth in their party boat. Mm-hmm. Their stealth party boat.
Yes. And then you get to back to the pool swimming building there.
Mm-hmm. Pool swimming.
Yeah,
that's what we call it.
So Paul has been doing research and going through all of Will's old documents and does find, or not Paul, Nick. he does find a poster for Jack's band, My Bleeding Clock, which is a goth band. You do see Jack Joyce in goth makeup.
Oh, really? They said it was an
What?
emo band.
Or emo? Was it emo? Okay, I guess emo. You're right.
I didn't see. He wasn't in goth makeup.
Yeah, well, he had like eyeliner and like lines.
Yeah, the eyeliner.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, and Nick plays it for Beth, and Beth loves the song. And sadly, Jack does not want them to listen to it. And Sophia's like, "Oh, you have to get to the lights and make them all green on top of the time machine so that things will work." And
Oh yeah.
you start going around, and Beth opens a door for you that you can't get through earlier, and there she sees a graffiti painting of herself giving a notebook to a kid, and she's like, "Oh yeah, a weird lady gave me this notebook and said she was me, and I've been doing every single thing on this notebook ever since." I didn't mention this
The stuff
before.
in the notebook is
That's-
pretty hard. Some of it's like sad.
Yeah, you don't get to read it here. You read it a little
Yeah,
later.
the swimming pool.
you see
Yeah.
both. You can read it in both parts. Like there's different versions. Well, there's one you read before you go back in time, and there's one you read after. One's like a log of everything that she went through.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can read her notebook, and it's pretty, like, it's interesting. It references 9/11 a bunch. It's like, it starts off like, this is crazy, you're not going to believe it, and then it starts laying out future events that are going to happen, and it keeps telling her, like, you're not going to be able to change this. And it kind of tells her, like, more and more, like, finally, 9/11, I think, is the one where she's like, you do everything in your power to stop it, and finally you accept that there's just nothing you can do. Everything you do makes it worse, makes it almost seem to come to fruition in the first place.
And she also says that happens with Jack's parents, that she feels like she's somehow to blame for it now.
Yeah. So yeah, Beth is responsible for 9/11, and that's an important thing to remember going forward here.
Yes. So you find the third button to push and fix that, and then Beth's ready. She's going to go back in time because she's like, I'm obviously the one that goes back in time here.
Well, no, they're both going back.
Oh, is it they're both? Okay.
And where they're going to 2010, is that it?
Yeah, July 4th, 2010, because that's where the CFR is. And they start going through, and then Jack realizes Sophia has put in the wrong date to screw things up. And things get really screwy, and he ends up in July 4th, 2010. And he runs into Beth, but she's got different color hair and looks a little sleepy.
Very disturbed.
So Beth goes through, and then Jack, I don't know, he doesn't really even do anything. He just kind of yells at Sophia and then sets it again and goes through. And when you run into, you appear back in the pool in 2010, and it's like, you don't know that Beth is there at first, and you have to kind of wander around, and there's noises happening, and you're like, oh, somebody's here. And eventually you open a door, and you find Beth shoot, like, target practice.
Yeah, you
shooting.
find, before you go back in time, you do find those targets, too. I was like, someone's been target shooting here.
And then, yes, when you find her, she's like, I'm so much older now. You find out that she went back to, Sophia sent her back to 1999. So she has now lived 10 years in the past. And it is fucking hilarious, where she's like, I'm like, you won't even recognize me. I've aged so much. And they literally just dyed her hair brown, and she's got hair over one eye now instead of a ponytail. So she's very fucking emo.
Wearing a hat.
Otherwise, it is the exact same fucking character model.
They did the same thing with Paul Serene.
Yeah, that's true.
So she's like, hey, I went back and I tried to stop things. I couldn't. She'd given up hope that he was actually going to come, but you actually did come, so that's great. Anyway, I know that this is the end of the line for me. And you're like, well, let's go. We got to go to Will. They realize the CFR is at Will's lab. So they go to Will's lab.
You do get to read a journal about Beth's journey from 1999 to now, and it is really
I liked it.
depressing. Like she,
It is super depressing.
you see her really like lose hope. A and B, like lose hope that they can even fix things. She basically comes to the conclusion that she's going to go through the motions, but she doesn't think there's any way to fix this time fracture. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, especially after she can't stop anything
Oh,
else.
because I'm sorry. Sophia does not send her to 1999.
No, she sends her to
She
the
sends
end
her
of
to
time.
the end of time. And
Which
then she goes back
Like in
to
Chrono
murder Paul
Trigger.
Serene in 1999.
Well, it's like
and then she gets stuck.
2031 or something. So yeah, she gets there and immediately
think
sees
2021.
Paul and starts shooting at him and stuff and trying to kill him and can't. But then she chases him around. There's a lot of stuff about being stuck there and like how crazy it is. Like everything's still. And if you make any sound or noise, like things come and try to get you, which I think are the shifters.
Yeah.
But eventually, young Paul Serene figures out how to send himself back to 1999, and she follows him through.
Yeah, 1999 being the earliest point that anybody can travel back in the past.
Yeah, that's the first time. That's the first time the
They
Hobbit,
activated the
Pippin turned the
Chronon
time
core.
machine on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so this is pretty rough, and she's a very changed person, at least character-wise, not model-wise. But.
Yeah.
She's wearing a cool beanie. That's fun.
Yeah. So you head over to
She says that I'm sorry. She says that she tried to stop 9/11 again and failed again. And once again, it seemed like it was everything she did made it come to place in the first place. Which how does that happen twice? So she's
So
double
she's responsible for 9/11.
Yeah, double
happening
responsible.
2 times. Yeah, that's what
That's
it's
that woman.
She also spent
Need a
the
hero to save us. I'm
A
not
hero.
gonna stand here and wait.
so she does say that she spent Y2K watching Buffy reruns or something in the pool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, she basically just lives in the pool. That's her whole life.
How does she
Pretend.
get
Yes.
food?
I mean,
I'm assuming that she's stealing it.
She does.
Maybe she has her own.
Well,
garden.
but she also
Maybe
knows
she has a
Will.
job.
Maybe Will's like giving her money. He's rich.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she does help him buy the place, so maybe she skimmed a little for herself.
And you see when they jump
She's
into
embezzling money from
Yeah.
Will.
Gotta get those pizzas somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
This cable subscription is not paying for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, those Buffy DVDs are not cheap. in
Yeah, they're
1999.
like $50 a piece for each season.
Yeah.
Maybe she's watching reruns. Maybe she's got bunny ears
Yeah, that's true.
Some cool
on the
TBS
UPN network
reruns
or whatever
of Buffy.
it was. At that
Yeah, she could watch some Eliminate as well, and it's not so
Yeah.
bad. So she goes, so you go to his workshop, and I think there you see a video of him getting interrupted by Beth and Paul, like shooting at each other. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, you see that before she even sends her back in time, because you can go talk to the protester girl that you saved. I can't remember her name.
Oh, dead girl who's not in my
but-
game.
Yeah, she's like, hey, I found all this data that I got on a drive at Monarch. Here's all the stuff that was in it. And one of them is a video with Will in it. And he's like, oh, this is the day I first turned my time machine on. And he turns his time machine on, and Paul and Beth come out and start shooting at each other. And that's where the video ends. And then you can read all this other stuff about Paul and Monarch, and there's a lot of lore dumping that happens like here and then in the next Drunker as well.
Yeah. So, let's see. Surprise, Beth is there. So you got to get the countermeasure out of the safe at Will's workshop. There's a little puzzle where you got to do a little time shift so that Will turns on the power and then press the button while the power is on in the time shift, and that works to unlock the door. So but Beth has to pick the safe. She's learned all sorts of skills in the 10 years. She learned like Jeet Kune Do and
And safe cracking.
Yeah, she
Safe
also
cracking.
mentions that she started doing graffiti. So that
She's
ties
the one
back
that
into all
painted-
this-
She's Toto.
Yes, she's
All
Toto.
all the graffiti murals are signed Toto.
Nick is the Scarecrow. Paul Serene is the Wizard of Oz, or is that Martin Hatch? Jack is the main girl there, Dorothy. What do you think, Matt? Am I right? Where's Jack the Tin
Who's
Man?
the Cowardly Lion?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Charlie Wincott.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He gets his courage at the end.
yeah,
So who's the Wicked Witch? Paul Serene's the Wicked Witch.
I guess you're right. Paul Serene's the Wicked
Ooh,
Witch.
yeah, Serene would be the Wicked Witch.
So Hatch must be the Wizard of Oz.
Maybe Amaral is the Wizard of Oz. 'cause
Oh,
she's a
you're right.
scientist.
Yeah, that's true.
Or maybe Will is.
I think
'cause
Will's
he
the
invented
wizard.
The time machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. You're right. It all fits
Yeah.
together.
Emerald's
Anyway.
the
So
flying monkeys.
Vanessa and Jim had asked who paints all these murals, and the answer is Beth. That's
Yeah, I like that.
Was there anything? Oh yeah. So that, but then Monarch shows up. Jack's like, "Okay, you crack the safe. I'll distract them." And you fight a couple of rounds, waves of people. There's snipers all over. But you hear that hear on your radio that Paul Serene's attacking Beth. So you run back to save Beth. And there's a big fight, and they're all like a comedy movie, throwing the countermeasure and picking up the countermeasure and then kicking it like a football, and then someone spikes it, and then that sadly that makes the countermeasure go off. And Jack is sent back to 2016, the present day. Can you imagine? Pre-Trump?
Yeah.
Obama is maybe still president?
Yeah, but then you have to see Trump get elected again.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
Oh, boy.
That's basically the worst time to go back into time.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. And
then, so this is also the reason why time is all fucked up in the swimming pool when you first get there, is because that's where the countermeasure went off.
No.
no,
Yeah.
it's Will's workshop. That's Ground
Yeah,
Zero.
it's Will's workshop. It's Ground Zero.
Oh,
It's like the
right.
swimming
Yeah.
But
okay.
but he does get
Right, you're right.
some echoes, time echoes of Beth and Paul Serene, and Paul Serene does shoot Beth in the head.
Yeah, he does murder.
Yeah, he does.
And
It's
he-
kind of
Jack-
it's weird because Beth kind of starts to give in to Paul, where she's like, "Yeah, like time is gonna end, and there's nothing we can do about it." But he does fucking execute her.
Yeah. And then Junction 4. Paul Serene's not doing super great since Martin Hatch blew up his supply of medicine. And Paul Serene can either take control of the situation and stick with the plan, or surrender to it and go crazy, go nuts.
Have we really talked about what Cronon syndrome is?
Yeah, they find one final like canister, but it's slightly damaged, and Paul's like, "What should I use this?" And that's where your choice
That's the
comes in.
junction. Yeah. But he's turning into a shifter. So when he became Cronon, actually, the reason why he has Cronon syndrome was because he was present when the countermeasure went off in that scene that we just saw. So that gave him Cronon syndrome. And his Cronon syndrome will eventually get... Oh, yeah. So Paul, if he stops treating himself, he will eventually become a shifter and become insane because he's being pulled into every reality at once.
And the treatment is not working much at this point anyway. It's happening either way.
Yeah, they think he's becoming resistant, similar to how Blade becomes resistant to his serum in the Blade films.
So, what did you choose, Jim? Control or surrender?
I chose surrender. I want to see Paul Serene go off the fucking deep end.
I was playing this and my son was in the room, so I decided to ask him what he wanted to do, and he chose control.
I originally chose control, but at that point, I guess from Jim's original playthrough, it said he chose control and Matt chose control, so I chose surrender.
Yeah, in my original playthrough, this is where I stopped. I didn't play the final act of the game.
Yes,
so-
I stopped. I got the both achievements here for choosing both paths, so I had never got this far before.
Oh yeah, I think this was the first time it had popped an achievement for me because I never had gotten quite this far.
So control means he does use the medicine.
Yeah.
One last
yeah,
time.
he takes the treatment.
Yeah, so everyone is getting on the lifeboat. Like, there's a little montage of people getting picked up by Monarch, and
this is episode 4 of the show.
Yeah. You find out that the lifeboat is running on the countermeasure.
Well, you find out that the CFR that they say is at the core of the lifeboat protocol is the countermeasure.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff happens here.
Yeah, so at the beginning of this episode, for me, Paul is sitting at his desk looking more and more disturbed and insane, and he sees a laptop light up that says the countermeasure had become active again, and he didn't turn it on, and he gets really pissed off, and it cuts to him talking to Amaral, and Amaral's like, I installed the failsafe that basically turns it on its own once we get to, like, the end of time, and because he's insane, he wants to cancel the entire lifeboat, so he takes, like, this M-shaped paperweight from the conference room table and beats her to death with it.
How did she even get back there?
She escaped. So, like, when Jack is about to enter the time machine to go back and find Beth, Amaral, that's like Monarch's on their way.
Yeah.
So,
says that.
so protester girl ties her up and then escapes, and then Monarch gets her and brings her to Paul.
So for me, he has like a whole discussion with her where he is, at first they're like talking about, oh, what could have been, and Amaral's like, yeah, like, you know, it could still be. And Paul gets in real close, and then he does strangle her to death.
Oh, wow. I think that he really bludgeons her with that letter M. It's pretty brutal.
So he takes that M and smacks her on top of the head with it, and it cuts to Amaral, and she's sitting there kind of stunned, and then blood just erupts from her head.
Yeah.
And then he beats her again, and she just falls over the table dead.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, holy shit.
So she's dead in either episode. That's interesting. So in my version, Liam goes through the Monarch building where the lifeboat is with his wife. He does not run into Paul Serene, which I know happens in Matt's version. And he is shooting like he's doing stairway fighting. Everyone loves a good stairway fight. And then runs into Charlie.
Why does this not happen in my version? This does happen in my version.
No. But in the control version, he's much more stable and like says to Liam, "Hey, we can work together. I'll take your wife down, and you can defend the CFR while I take your wife to the lifeboat. So she'll be there if you succeed, and if you don't succeed, she'll still be okay." But it's weird
to me that all this stuff with Liam in the show and all this has basically ended in Liam being a mini boss. Glug.
What do you mean mini boss?
Glug. Well, he goes and he gets all dressed in his fucking knockoff stormtrooper outfit, and he fights fucking Jack.
Yeah.
Kind of. But then Hatch shows up, and, well, anyway, we're talking about it.
Mm-hmm. So, in mine, Charlie, he runs into Charlie, and he's like, "I need to get the countermeasure," and Charlie's like, "Yeah, I'm with you. Let's like do it together because you need my help." And they both go. That's what happened, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they go upstairs, and Charlie starts hacking the defenses and turning them off on the countermeasure. And he's about to grab it when Hatch walks in, and Hatch shoots Liam, and then walks in to grab the countermeasure. And Charlie turns on security in one of the coolest shots, disintegrates...
Yeah, disintegrates Hatch.
Disintegrates Hatch with the CFR security, which is pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool.
But then, sadly, Hatch does reappear and shoots Liam about 50 times.
he shoots him dead.
No, he still has time to like tell.
Well, yeah, he gets a little goodbye where he's like, I would give anything to have that year back with you.
Yeah.
I would give anything for it.
I did
And
it
then he
for our family and for us.
Yeah, I did it for us. I saw what we could be, and that's why I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Emily?
And then he dies.
Emily's his wife.
His wife.
In the surrender version, his wife comes with him to the CFR. In the control version, she goes down
his
to
wife
the
is there.
lifeboat. But he tells her to go to the lifeboat downstairs.
I don't remember
Yeah,
Charlie
so it shows
disintegrating Hatch.
That doesn't happen in your version.
Yeah. So in ours, so Liam is dead, and then Emily picks up Liam's gun and starts shooting at Hatch, and she misses a bunch, and then she shoots him in the head. Oh yeah, Hatch comes back.
Yeah.
So he's disintegrated, and then he immediately comes back, and then she shoots him in the head, and he dies, and then he comes back again. Let's just say Hatch is a shifter.
Yeah. That's why he's been taking the
is,
Chronon medicine as well.
Yes, and that so he's a shifter who is able to collect himself enough to exist in a single reality while also existing in every single other one.
Mm-hmm. So,
I didn't
Liam,
get any of that from this.
In your version,
thanks for telling me.
In your version, Liam. Well, in both versions, also Charlie talks to Fiona and gets her into the lifeboat. He adds her name to the list.
Yeah, I liked that scene because it shows him doing his computer shit, and then he puts his own name in there, and then he types in Fiona's name, and he's kind of hesitant to hit the enter button, and then he's like, "You're gonna owe me one big time," and then he hits enter. I thought that was a good scene.
Yeah, there's also a good scene where, depending on which version, Paul Serene either takes Emily down and then makes a passionate speech about the plan and how they're all going to work together to rebuild after the fracture. And but in the version Jim and I got, he just like over the PA has this insane speech about how he won't betray me.
Like it's like he's reading a fucking transcript of a Donald Trump rally. It's fucking just insane.
For me, it was a very Johnny from the End of the Room speech. Everyone betrays me.
I'm tired of this world.
Yeah, that's what happens. And in Matt's version, Hatch comes up while Charlie is hacking and kills Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie calls Fiona and gets her to come and to the lifeboat, and she's like, "We have to help Jack get to the CFR." And Charlie finally kind of comes around to the side of the Angels and is like, "Okay," and says, "But you got to stay here." And she gives him like a fond farewell. I don't think they even kiss. Like she just is like, "All right, bye. You're not a bad date, Charlie." And he's like, "Oh, I know," which I was like, "Fuck you, you're not Star Wars." And then, Charlie goes up and disables the security so that Jack can get in, but Liam shows up and, I don't know, they argue or something.
That's right before Star Wars gets frozen in carbonite, right?
Yeah, Liam shoots Charlie, right?
No. Hatch shoots Charlie.
Hatch shoots Charlie. Liam
Hatch
goes and gets his stormtrooper outfit.
Yeah,
Can I just say, like, just for future reference, listeners, friends, if somebody wants you to put on stormtrooper armor, don't do it. Mm-hmm. It's a mistake. It's a bad idea.
But Jim.
Then Hatch shows up and just starts fucking things up, and Liam is trying to defend the CFR from Hatch, and then I don't remember what happens. Does Jack show up at all here? Does he ever show up in these fucking episodes?
He was in the last one.
He does a couple times.
In episode 2 for a bit. But Jim, in this version, Hatch kills Charlie, not Liam.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I prefer Liam getting. I really like Charlie's little arc here.
Yeah.
So the episode rounds up with so Charlie goes to Emily and says, "Hey, I got you. Like, what's your name? Like, is your last name Burke?" There's kind of a little funny joke there. And he puts her name in the lifeboat protocol and says, "Okay, get in the elevator, go down." and he says, "Tell Fiona that the world needs people like her to explain how weird the world is, and tell her that I'm thinking about her." And then he says, "Tell her that I finally feel connect," because she said he's disconnected from everything. Like he doesn't care about anything, and he opens the case where the Chronon suits are, and he says, "Tell her that I finally feel connected." And so he's like, "I need to help Jack Joyce."
Yeah.
So I thought that was good.
In
I liked that.
the
Positive.
Matt ending, Liam and Hatch have a fight, and Liam stabs Hatch so many times, especially in the head with his little baby knife.
Oh, he stabs him in the head?
He stabs him in the eye.
And I thought it was like in the top of his head.
No, he stabs him in the eye.
Yeah, like a super stabby attack, and he thinks Hatch is dead. He doesn't realize. You don't get the Hatch coming back in this version.
No.
Oh.
No, you don't.
All right.
So he doesn't know. And yeah, the end is just him putting on the Stormtrooper time armor and protecting the CFR.
Yeah, waiting for
Hatch,
Jack.
Yeah.
In my episode, Hatch also threatens Charlie to do, the hacking to open up the security on the CFR, and also says that he's wanting to institute an entirely new world after after time breaks down. He says, "I'm my world will be a world of balance."
Yeah.
Is all that he says.
Yeah, he says that in both.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we'll find out
Yeah.
next time
Will we?
on Quantum Break. So that's it.
Good.
All right, yeah,
that was a good chunker. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like this game. It's not the best game we
These
ever played.
Remedy
but it's
games are
fun.
so well written.
I mean,
yeah,
it's not the best
the writing
game
in
we've
these
ever
games is
played,
good.
Yeah, like writing wise, it may be one of the best games we've ever fucking played. Even though it's not. It's got problems, but like I don't know. Compare this to these fucking most of the animes that we play. Ugh.
Yeah, I could see this. I could see this making a really killer TV series or a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's not enough content for a fucking TV series. It's enough content for a movie.
I think you could do a 1 season 7 episode thing.
Let's talk about what we're squarely against, Johnny. What are you squarely against?
I am roundly for how cool the bridge platforming level was. That was just really fun. What about you, Matt?
I knew you were going to say me.
What? Should I not choose?
I guess I'm roundly for Charlie. I feel like he comes around and becomes a likable character. And as much as like the first episode of this show, I was like, are we really spending 20 minutes on this fucking IT dork? But by the end, I liked him. It worked. What about you, Jim?
I'm roundly for Hatch's turn as a time monster. Hatch is a cool character, man. I like these mysterious characters, and you get little drips of background in the files. Like they mention that there's nothing on Hatch's background before like 2001. Basically, he didn't exist. He just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So there's a whole mysterious element. It's fun. Like that kind of stuff that they put into these Remedy games where they tease larger mysteries and all these. It's my favorite thing. I think it's so cool. So I'm glad they gave Hatch that treatment in this game. Well, all right. Hey, John.
Yeah.
Will you tell us about our Patreon?
Well, we have a Patreon where for $3 a month you get access to every single bonus episode. Every single one we do. And you help support the show. Well, the bonus this month, I think it's Matt's turn, right?
I don't think so.
No.
Was it mine?
I think it's Vanessa's.
Oh, is it?
Or yours. Maybe it's yours.
Right? Oh, we'll see. It's either mine or Vanessa's. I kind of want to do that Thank Goodness You're Here game. That looks really silly and fun.
I just bought that on Steam while we were recording.
It looks amazing.
It's like 20% off.
How much
on
is
Steam,
it?
So.
$20?
Like $16.99.
Okay. All right, and we for $5 a month you get access to vote, and I think the vote is still going for like another couple of days, right, Matt?
It
As of
ends.
this
I
recording?
believe it ends the morning this comes out.
Okay, so you
And-
have a chance. Get everyone to change. If you want it to be something else, you all have to change your
Yeah,
votes.
jump into your brother's time machine, go back a week, and you can influence the outcome of the vote.
It's going to be a weird one to do, too, because there are like 3 separate paths you can take. I don't know.
We'll figure
I
it
don't know
out.
how the fuck that's going to work.
Who
I'll tell you what
knows?
we're going to do. We're going to do the path of least resistance, and I'm going to be writing the notes. We're going to do Matt's path. And if you guys want to chime in with your own experiences, you're welcome to. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
We're not doing all
Matt, this
3.
is
That's
your
for
game.
damn sure.
You have to play all of it.
Yeah, you have to
mean,
play
I'm-
every single path.
I'm 25 hours in. I'm not doing that. I'm pretty burnt out on it already. I'm like 25. I've played for a week and I had 2 weeks now. I've played 25 hours.
Apparently, the PSP
It's not as
version
good
is easier.
as.
I found
It's not as good as. It's not hard. I mean, I've only had one fight that I had to do a couple of times. Every other one, I've had not a lot of problems.
I'm just going
But
to use a guide
it
until I
is-
get this. You know, like with Final Fantasy Tactics, eventually I could stop using a guide. But for the first,
Not really,
half
because
the
this
game-
doesn't let you like grind yourself up so that you can just
Well, then I'll just use the guide for the
steamroll
whole
through
game.
shit, which I hate. But I have to admit, now that I've sunk my teeth into this thing, it's not as good as Final Fantasy Tactics. Like it's just it's very similar, but like a little more bare bones, and like I really just want to like mix and match.
Do you think the hero is going to get stabbed, or the villain, I guess, is going to get stabbed by his girlfriend or not at the end? Because that was the best for me. That's what made Final Fantasy
the
Tactics
plot's also
a classic.
not nearly as interesting.
Yeah.
It is more grounded, which I think is why people like it so much. It is a lot like Final Fantasy Tactics. It's about warring nations and stuff.
Yeah.
But like it doesn't have all the fun stuff of
You
Final
should
Fantasy
try
Tactics.
Triangle Strategy.
Weird monster gods.
Is that on
and
Game Pass? Triangle Strategy
that's only on Nintendo and
Steam. Yeah.
Oh, is it really? I
Yeah.
didn't know that. But
Yeah.
no, I think after Tactics, my itch is scratched. I'm
Oh,
good.
okay.
I did it. I mean, I played 3 hours of it today. I'm still playing it.
Anyway, no matter what you give, you're supporting the show. Even if you're just giving $1 or you're giving $100, you're supporting the show. And we thank all our $1 listeners and all our $100 listeners, all 20 of you that give us hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month. Someone told Lucky Palmer that we're a super alt-right show, so anybody never bothered to listen and double check.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Palmer Lucky.
I love being an
Something
alt-right
factor.
show. That's, you
Palmer
know,
Lucky, yeah.
it's great being an alt-right show. We're grifting the masses and
Yeah.
ruining the country.
All right,
But it's not
I'd
your
like to
country,
thank-
right? So what do you care?
I'd like to thank Isaac Wright, Keysby Knight, Josh Holt, Julie, Daniel Wood, William Westgard, Brian Pitt, John Scala. For Square Roots Podcast, I'm Stim Stanks. I'm Angel.
I'd like to thank Lex of Ariel, Andy Smith, Etterroll, Doom Train, RP Siege, Mike Marno, Butts on Parade, Hexagon, Stephen Paget, and Huxley Iguana. Jim, you have to read both of the last two because you're
I
last.
will. And I'd like to thank Anthony Cruz, Wedge Coon, Andy M, Cyril the Wolf, Chris Sasaki, Seth G, DJ Thedong, Awoo, Mike, Johnny Five Alive, John B. Quaker Oatman, Arthur A, Jake Dickerson, Samuel Mitchell, Ogre, you glad I didn't say banana, Cerulean, Wishbone is gay, Zachary Bullet Ant Harbison, Joshua W. Broxson, Orcus the Great, and Eric Pidcomini. All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us a fun email to have read on the air, we're at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come join our Facebook group where we like to hang out. It's called the Square Roots Podcast Group. We're smart, cool, very attractive people. Or find us on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
All right, for Square Roots, I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Vanessa. And Johnny. Brandon.
Goodbye.
We did it. Okay.
worse to the point where he becomes a shifter and he's unable to ground himself in a single reality.
Jim froze.
So
I think Jim's
Jim
in a
froze.
stutter.
I'm sure he finished what he said, but
I did.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
a little bit.
Not
A
really.
little bit.
That's
We can
weird.
hear you.
You might want to
You're
disconnect
"Ooh,
and reach.
ga."
Yeah, try
I
disconnecting.
think it's
and
probably.
reconnecting.
I think it's probably on your end.
Ooh, ooh, ee, ooh, ah, ah, ting, tang, walla, walla, bang, bang.
Matt, I want to see Deadpool with you. It sucks that we can't hang out and you and Vanessa and I go see these shitty movies. So that I don't want to see them by myself. It sucks to see these by
No,
myself.
that's not fun. Horror movies are fun to see by yourself because who cares? But
Matt
action movies
Banks
like
is the
that
host. Who's Matt Banks?
That's me.
Hey,
Hello.
Hello.
hi.
Hi. You're back.
You got caught in a chronon stutter.
Yeah.
I did. I became unmoored in reality.
Anyway, you were saying?
Yeah.
She is. I did get a fucking fantastic screenshot from my version where he's choking her. That I want to send you because it's
Let me open
fucking
up the
amazing.
chat here.
Hero to save us, not gonna stand here and wait.
On the wings of the
hero can save us.
Hang on, I have to save it. I wonder if you got. I wonder if they reused this in both or how that
Let's
works.
see.
But this really
see.
fucking made me laugh. Like
you
he's
remember-
like drooling.
Jim, is the most severe beating on film the one from Pan's Labyrinth? he looks like I think you could leave guy.
Oh, he does. He looks like he's taking a shit.
It's the weird. That's him choking Emerald to death, and he is just. It just cuts to the scene of him. I know that's not good audio. I'm sorry, listeners. We'll post it in the group or something. It is a bizarre fucking shot of this actor.